Welcome back. Government has terminated the national state of disaster on electricity supply constraints with immediate effect. The declaration was made in February by President Cyril Ramaphosa. This was done to help deal with the extended power outages, empowering the government to bypass regulatory hurdles, to repair broken plants and to procure emergency electricity to end blackouts lasting sometimes 12 hours per day. For more analysis on this, we are now joined by energy expert Ruse Moleshe. Ruse, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Something that took many by surprise. We knew that when President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the national state of disaster for the electricity problems, that came with many criticisms. And now we find ourselves here. Was it wrong in the beginning to place the country under a national state of disaster for the electricity crisis?
Good evening to the viewers as well. I clearly, if it's so easy to get rid of it, then it was not necessary. The Minister of Electricity indicated that they have been able to get exemptions, for instance, for Kusile, where there's pollution there, and they have not installed the flue gas desulfurization unit without going into the national state of disaster legislation. And if they are able to just get rid of it now, I know that the minister also said they are not doing so because of the legal challenge that came about, but I find that very hard to believe. So we were told that this is going to assist to expedite issues of procurement for Eskom to sort out the coal-fired power fleet where there are impediments as a result of the PFMA. So I don't know if those have disappeared now. We no longer have to do that. It's not very clear what we're doing, really.
And of course, we're also being given reasons, as you've stated there, Ruse, saying that we are stepping closer to resolving some of the issues here with the electricity crisis. But South Africans are also asking themselves, we still have load shedding.
No, we are not stepping closer per se to solving issues, because this is a long-term issue. And if we are to believe that the gap is about 6,000 megawatts, that we still will help us resolve this issue, we are nowhere close to that. One of the things that we were supposed to do was to procure power from independent power producers, from the private sector, from the region. That has not happened yet. And so those were some of the reasons given. So do we change the reasons now, or what is the issue? So I think maybe we never really needed it if we are saying we can then resolve these issues without that. Remember that, yes, Eskom has made some progress in terms of energy availability factors for some of the plants, but the demand is going to increase in winter. And that will show us that we do really still have a shortage of power. And so I don't believe that we have now resolved the load shedding issue, and therefore we don't need the national state of disaster. I really think that it comes down to the legal challenge.
And of course, I was coming to this issue that, how should South Africans actually view this step that government has taken? Because we also know there was this legal challenge. Why should South Africans trust this decision that has been taken?
Yeah, I think that from my view, I think that from the presidency point of view, there needs to be a lot of homework done prior to putting things out there in the public, whether it's the national state of disaster or whether it's the issue that the president had almost promised the country that the tariffs would be done away with, without looking at what will be the legislative impediments. So they should really preempt any potential court challenges upfront and do their homework and understand whether or not whatever they are putting out there for South Africans is going to stand the test of time. Otherwise, the government loses credibility.
And Ruse, when it comes to load shedding itself and this step that has been taken, and of course, South Africans still facing load shedding, we are heading towards the winter period, a cold season. You know, what's the possibility and the likelihood of South Africans even finding themselves again under stage 6 load shedding?
Right now, in terms of the solutions that were put on the table with the national state of disaster, there's nothing that drastic that has happened to show that from a supply side, there's an increase in capacity. Yes, there are some 6 plants or so within Eskom whose energy availability factor is increased, which is progress and good. However, not sufficiently to meet, in my view, to meet the demand that will increase in winter. The Kusile power plants that we're looking at a solution in December, the 3 units that are out, looking at a solution in December, end of this year. And Unit 4 at Metupi, we're still looking at 2024. Therefore, any significant capacity coming in, I have not seen any new agreements on the regional side or with IPPs with significant additional supply side interventions. Therefore, I would forecast that we're going to have issues in this winter.
And Ruse, if you can just outline to our viewers, you know, what should government actually be doing right now to ensure that there is sufficient supply going forward of electricity?
Well, these issues are long-term. Like now, for instance, when we talk about bringing back the 3 units at Kusile, it's not something that you can just press a button and it happens. Government should, in my view, from today, focus not only on today's load shedding, but also focus on the long-term plan for South Africa to permanently address the issues that relate to load shedding. And that would be bringing in new capacity. Of course, it's going to take time. It's not going to take 2 days to be able to do that. Unfortunately, the bus has passed for when we're supposed to plan for today. So we still need to make sure that we plan for tomorrow and we plan today to make sure that we have a credible plan on the table.
All right, thank you very much. Of course, that is energy expert there, Ruse Moleshe, just, you know, outlining that decision that was taken today by government to, of course, withdraw the national state of disaster.